On these 20 occasions, Slaton showed disrespect to other individuals. In addition, we have a moment that is so disrespectful that it was almost removed from the interview. This brings us to number 20. That is, you are not allowed to speak things like that on television, man. However, that is nothing in comparison to the manner in which he behaved when playing the game. Don't let it fall apart. And with that, let's go. Which individual are you referring to? Would you describe yourself as a cameraman or a journalist? Then why are you holding the camera in your hand? Don't you think you ought to have a camera guy? He has a limited budget then. Man, it is a very insulting statement. On the other hand, at least he wasn't so stupid as to refer to the Swedish goat as number 16 blind. In light of the fact that you have recently reached 38 years old and that you age gracefully, I would like to point out that the eyes are among the first things to show signs of aging. Consequently, a pair of reading glasses is useful in this regard. It is possible for him to wear those glasses while driving his $1.75 million Ferrari that he purchased for himself by way of a birthday present in that particular year. What a flex it is. However, Slaton was already showing contempt to others while he was in his 20s. Oh my goodness, it is so insulting to just go through a defense like that. On the other hand, this is nothing in comparison to the occasion when he completely embarrassed an entire nation. Without a doubt, the Swedish goat does not pull any punches when it comes to receiving criticism, as a result of the fact that he has a tendency to come across as somewhat arrogant. The French people were not concerned about his attitude when it was reported that he would be moving to Paris Saint-Germain. Ouch. It is true that the French people finally came to love him, but the reason for this is due of number 13. The 25-yard distance is merely insulting. It appears like the custodian is still seeking for that ball. On the other hand, at least he didn't disrespect the guy's wife like he did at number 13. It's true that Slaton has a hard time being polite to reporters on a regular basis, but here he truly went too far with his behavior. Everyone was perplexed as to what had transpired when he walked in one day with scars on his face. Was he out hunting before? Was he once again engulfed in a volcanic eruption? Either a lion or an eagle was responsible for his attack. Well, the reporters had no choice but to find out. A single somebody inquired about it. You ought to inquire with your wife about the scars that you have on your face if you have any. Exactly. You answer me as *** question, you get his *** answer. Well, alright then. At least he gave us something to talk about. Just like at number 11, when he scored his 500th career goal, lifts it into the area. Ibra scores. That is number 500. What? I didn't know you could even do that with a human body. Just bending like that. Even the man himself was impressed. When you score a goal like that, you go crazy. You get a lot of adrenaline. I wouldn't know, but yeah. But we were losing the game 3-0, and I scored that goal. So if that would be the leading goal, I would leave the stadium. Oh, and you would have just hung it up right there? Yeah, because when you score a goal like that, you have nothing to prove anymore. Hey, I wouldn't even be surprised if he did that. Well, we've made it to the top 10 now, which means we've got some insanely disrespectful moments coming up. And to kick things off, let's talk about the time he demolished his biggest competitor in the MLS. Carlos Vela was the main man for LAFC, and obviously Zlatan was carrying LA Galaxy. Naturally, a rivalry came out of this. So when Vela scored 34 goals in the 2018-2019 season, and Zlatan only netted 30, people started wondering, do you still consider yourself the best player in Major League Soccer? By far, because if he's in his prime, how old is he? Carlos Vela is 29. He's playing in MLS, and he's in his prime. When I was 29, where was I? Yeah, you were in Europe. Big difference. Ouch, that's savage. But that's nothing compared to number 9, the time he insulted LeBron James. It started off with a funny tweet Slaton sent out when he arrived in LA. Now LA has a god and a king. Slaton welcomes King James. Talk about a warm welcome. Obviously, LeBron took it as a joke and actually tried befriending the Swedish GOAT by sending over his jersey. But instead of framing it, he actually signed it and sent it back to LeBron James. Like, who does that? But that's not the only world-class athlete he disrespected. Because at number 8, Slaton actually called one of the greatest boxers in history a clown. After Argentina kicked Mexico out of the World Cup 2022, players went to the dressing room and celebrated like there was no tomorrow. Dancing, screaming, they were really enjoying themselves. Until Canelo Alvarez, a super middleweight champion of the world, saw Messi cleaning the floor with a Mexican flag. He was raging and couldn't control himself. He tweeted out that Messi should ask God to never be found by him. And obviously, Zlatan couldn't let him disrespect his former Barcelona buddy like that. I didn't know who Canelo was, but I see he's a clown. He touches Messi, and the next day, he'll be in the afterlife. Oh, that's a boxing match I'd pay to see. But I'm sure some hooligans would also love to step into the ring with Slaton after he made the most disrespectful gesture in MLS history. It was the Western Conference semifinal, and Zlatan was expecting an easy win against a rival, LAFC. So when he suffered a 5-3 defeat, he showed his true colors. What the heck, man? You can't do that towards a fan. That's wild. But the worst thing is, he wasn't done raging just yet. He went all out during the press conference after. Was it? Yes. Are you sure? Yes. Are you 100% sure? Yes. And you think we didn't know that? No, I think you knew that. But the referee didn't know that. The VAR didn't get involved in it. What was he doing upstairs? Good question. Drinking coffee with Magic Johnson? Good question. Exactly. But how does that entail? He disrespected the reporter, the MLS, the referee, the VAR, and Magic Johnson in 20 seconds. Only Ibra can do that. But that wasn't the first time he wrote MLS history. Ibra was described as the most promising striker of Europe when he was playing for Inter in 2009, so it was no surprise when he transferred to Barcelona after spending $70 million. Zlatan expected Barca to build the team around him, but Pep had different plans, to which he said this infamous quote, "It's as if you bought a Ferrari, but you're driving like a Fiat." And that wasn't the only time he disrespected the Spanish coach. My issue in Barcelona was with a single individual, and that individual was the philosopher. I stopped communicating with him soon after the new year, which was a couple of months after that occasion. I mean, if you have somebody who does not spark your interest, I will not fight for you. I will not fight for you. We have saved the best for last because Zlatan not only injured a teammate but also threatened to break both of his legs. That was certainly disrespectful, but we have saved the best for last because we have saved the finest for yesterday. It was in the year 2001 that the Swedish coach was playing with Rafael van der Vaart in Amsterdam. In spite of the fact that both players were very arrogant and began brawling with one another on a weekly basis, the situation became significantly more heated when Sweden was playing the Netherlands in a friendly match. At some point, Slaton had to let out all of the frustration that had been building up inside of him. He was unable to contain his emotions for even a single second longer. It hurts. As a result of that foul, the Dutchman was forced to sit out for a month, and the tension between the two players increased even further. Since Van der Vaart was certain that the striker had done it on purpose, he summoned the entire club staff together to confront Slaton. Slaton was the target of the confrontation. However, things did not turn out the way he had anticipated.